go. All right, looks like we're live here. I got a new computer and a new streaming setup, so we're live here. I got a new computer and a new streaming setup. Sorry, I'm just getting a little. Had a tab open there. Close that. So yeah, let me know in the chat if the sound is off. If I don't see anybody type anything, I'm just going to assume that we're good and keep pushing ahead here. So yeah, let's see, get all this stuff here ready to go. All right, well, cool. I think we're just going to jump right into it. I'm not seeing anything in the chat there. My name is Matt Millen. I'm the founder of the Denver Crypto Group, and this is part of an ongoing series that I'm releasing through YouTube, geared towards newer entrants into the crypto sphere, the cryptocurrency world, whatever you want to call it. At this point, I've probably helped a few thousand people get into the crypto game, anything from setting up wallets to exchanges, mining, I mean, pretty much DeFi, every facet of the cryptocurrency ecosystem. I've got a little bit of knowledge in, or quite a bit of knowledge in. So if you need any help, please reach out to me. I do some one-on-one consulting, and I'll have a slide here at the end if you're interested in that and how to get in touch with me. But yeah, the focus for tonight is going to be non-fungible tokens, or NFTs, as you've probably heard of them. And I'll be covering a few things on that. And if you have any questions about anything, please pop them into the chat. The chat there is live, and there'll be a replay available. Obviously, if you're watching this not during the live stream, you can't ask any questions, but you can put them in the comments down below, whatever you want. But yeah, if you have any questions, pop them in the chat there. I'll try and answer them towards the end, or as they kind of come up, if it makes sense. And yeah, that's kind of it. I think with that, I'm just going to share my screen here, and we're going to get into it. So let's do that. All right, maximize that. Cool. All right, so non-fungible tokens, the future of digital art, question mark. I don't know how what everybody's comfort level is with this stuff. So again, there are no bad questions. If you're a brand new beginner, that's awesome. If you've like minted a bunch of NFTs and you're currently selling them on OpenSea, that is also cool too. Yeah, really, wherever you're at, there's it's all good. So for tonight's presentation, I want to make sure that I'm covering what exactly is an NFT, and then also protocols that support NFTs, basically blockchain projects that offer NFTs on them, marketplaces for NFTs where you can purchase, buy them or mint them. And then I want to talk a little bit about digital ownership, because I think the NFTs are really kind of the beginning of something bigger that is to come, and it's obviously still very early on, but yeah, I want to talk a little bit about that at the end, and then we'll have some Q&A, and that will be it. So yeah, we'll just hop right into it here. So so NFTs, what the heck are they? that's kind of why we're all here, right? Basically, they use the same technology behind cryptocurrency in general, like Bitcoin and Ethereum. They're on a blockchain, and it's basically an uncensorable ledger of data. And so if your NFT or the ownership of that NFT is recorded on that blockchain ledger, you can basically act like you have ownership. It gives you ownership over that NFT. And because that blockchain is decentralized and uncensorable, nobody can take that from you. So that's that's kind of how the ownership of an NFT works. An NFT can represent any digital or is a digital asset that can represent real world objects like art, music, in-game items, videos, lots of things. And every day people are using it for more and more different things. But while they can be tied to physical assets, at their core, NFTs are simply a token that you hold in a crypto wallet that proves ownership over a digital file. That digital file could be a certificate of ownership for a physical asset, or it could be a crypto kitty, or it could be a Top Shot NBA clip, or it could be a piece of digital art from Beeple. There's a very, very wide range of things that digital file can represent. But that's really all an NFT is. It's just proving ownership over a digital file, and you hold it in your crypto wallet just like you hold any other cryptocurrency. And yeah, so if that doesn't make sense, obviously pop a question there in the chat. I'll try and explain it a little bit more, but I want to make sure I've given everyone a very basic explanation of what they are. A few other characteristics of NFTs are here on the slide here. The first one is fungibility versus non-fungibility. So, I mean, what is fungibility, right? Fungibility is basically the interoperability, or the ability for one thing to be the same as another. So if I have $1 and I give that dollar to you, and you have $1 and you give a different dollar back to me, we both have $1 still. That dollar is fungible. $1 is the same as every other dollar. I mean, obviously there's a difference with the serial number, so it's not truly fungible. But for this explanation, that's kind of how you can think of it. It's just one is exactly the same as another, and you can have one. It doesn't matter which one you have; it's worth the same as all the other ones. Non-fungibility is really just uniqueness. One thing is not like all of the other things. It is a unique token in this case, or just a non-fungible item. If I was to make a painting and put it up in my office, that painting is non-fungible. There's no other paintings like it. It's a unique painting that I've created. And so an NFT is simply a non-fungible token. So it's a unique token that is not like any other token. And it's held in a cryptocurrency wallet, like I already explained, and you're able to move it digitally, transfer the ownership of it digitally, without having to physically interact with anybody, which is pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool. The second bit there, I've got token standards. And so I'm talking primarily about the Ethereum network tonight. I mean, I'm going to cover some other protocols that offer NFTs as well, but really the Ethereum ecosystem is where all the action's happening, if you want to think of it that way. That they've got the biggest marketplaces, they've got the biggest audience of people purchasing NFTs, they've got the biggest creator pool of artists creating and minting NFTs. That's where, I mean, probably 80–90% of all the NFT action is happening is on the Ethereum network. They have a few different token standards because you have Ethereum, but then you have all of these other cryptocurrency projects that are built basically on top of Ethereum. And so you have these different token standards for these other projects that build on top of Ethereum. They have to follow to make sure that what they're doing and what they're building plays nice with the Ethereum ecosystem as a whole. And it works on your Ethereum wallet, and the exchanges can support it and all that good stuff. So there's three standards here. We've got our ERC20, our ERC 721, and our ERC 1155. The ERC20 is the fungible token. So that's where if you're creating another cryptocurrency project, like basic attention token, that's built on the Ethereum network. It's the ticker is BAT. All of those tokens are fungible, right? So there's a million of them or a billion of them, I forget. They are an ERC20 token. They are fungible. Every one BAT is the same as another BAT. There's no real uniqueness to different BAT tokens. And that's because they follow the ERC20 token standard. Now you've got the ERC 721, which is kind of an older standard. That's the non-fungible, unique token. And that's where we got CryptoKitties. If you remember that back in the day in 2017, 18, we had a big old plug up of the Ethereum network where people were trading and minting and doing all these crazy things with the CryptoKitties. And there were so many transactions going on that the gas fees on Ethereum, really spiked up, became quite expensive. And then, they subsequently died down as we entered a bear market, and everybody's fervor for the CryptoKitties kind of died off. We're currently seeing something similar where the Ethereum, the cost to send an Ethereum transaction or any kind of a transaction on Ethereum is really expensive right now. And that's because there's so much going on in the Ethereum world. I mean, you've got DeFi and all the yield farming protocols. You've got people building projects and releasing new protocols like BAT and Chainlink and other things on Ethereum. And then you've got all of these NFTs where people are just minting and creating NFTs, reselling them, flipping them. And so all of that combined has led to a scenario where there's quite a bit of transactions that are happening all the time on Ethereum. And because of that, the cost to send a transaction, the transaction fee that you pay in Ethereum gas, has gone up. Hopefully there's going to be there are some scaling solutions that are in the works. Hopefully end of the summer, later this year, those fees will go down. But right now, probably costs a couple $100 to create and mint an NFT on the Ethereum ecosystem. And unfortunately, that's where kind of all the action is happening. So if you're going to make an NFT, make sure you're doing it. Just be ready to pony up some money to do it, basically. But yeah, so ERC 721 is the unique non-fungible token. ERC 20 is the fungible token. And then we have ERC 1155, and that's basically a combination of both of them. If your token is ERC 1155 compliant, it can be either an ERC 20 type token or an ERC 721 type token. So you can have a fungible token or a non-fungible token. It doesn't really care, but it's kind of like the all-encompassing standard. And it's created by the Engine project, actually, ENJ. And that kind of encompasses both of them and does a lot to bring some interoperability to the Ethereum space. So those are the token standards, are the most common ones that you'll probably run into when you're going down the NFT rabbit hole for Ethereum. Just wanted to make sure everybody kind of understands that. But your NFT is either going to be an ERC 721 or an ERC 1155. That's the takeaway there. The third point here, how unique is my NFT really, is one that I see people ask a lot. And the answer is it is completely and utterly unique. You can see exactly when it was created, the time that it was created. There's a transaction hash of the minting process. There's a wallet that's tied to this NFT that originally minted this NFT. There are quite a few ways to prove the uniqueness of this NFT. Additionally, though, the NFT, remember, it's tied to a digital file, right? It points to a digital file. That digital file is not really that unique. I can go on and I can look at someone's NFT and I can see the address where that file is being hosted. I can go and I can download that file pretty easily. But what I can't do is I cannot get the metadata that's about, who minted this NFT, when was it created, what wallet was it held in, the transaction ID, and all of the kind of the metadata around it. I cannot replicate that. So that's what makes it unique. It's not really the digital file, that's fairly replicatable, but it's the uniqueness of the ownership that's actually really what the NFT is about. It proves that this digital file belongs to so-and-so because it was created on this and this date, and it was created in this and this way, and the person who created it gave a non-commercial license to the owner of this NFT, and that it can be resold and whatnot. So that's kind of how the NFTs work. The file itself is not unique. It's definitely replicatable and you can download it. But the creation ceremony, the ownership of it, that's basically where what people are willing to pay millions and millions of dollars for, that certificate that says I own this digital file, not the digital file itself. And I think that's an important distinction to make, because I think people believe that a lot of these NFTs are, the file, no one can access the file and only I have access to the file. No, that's actually not the case. Okay, so that's that slide. Let's see here. We got a couple questions. Let's take a look. Why wouldn't a corporation like Adobe stock use NFTs to purchase assets on their platform? Unfortunately, I'm not familiar with Adobe stock. I mean, I know Adobe, they do Photoshop and, all that editing software. I guess Adobe stock, is that like stock footage or stock photos? That's a good question, Wade. I'm not sure that I have an answer for that. And why wouldn't they use it? Probably because they already have a system of like DRM, the digital rights management system, that kind of protects the uniqueness of those stock photos, I would be my guess. And that only really works because Adobe holds the rights to all of those. If they want to, if they wanted to make it so that, other people could purchase and sell and kind of, open up the marketplace, then NFTs might make sense for them. But if they want to, basically just lease out the rights to some stock photos, NFTs don't really make sense for that, because it's really, you're transferring the ownership. You're not transferring the, just the right to use it. I mean, that does come with ownership, but the NFT is more than just the right to use it, if that makes sense. And I'm not even sure I'm understanding that correctly. I don't even know what Adobe stock is. I'm just assuming it's like stock photos. Can there be multiple owners of one NFT? Could an NFT be broken down in percentage of ownership? Yeah, absolutely. A multi-sig address or a multi-sig wallet could be the owner of it, and you could have multiple people's signatures required for anything to leave that wallet, effectively making it so like 5 people have to sign off basically on the transfer of the ERC20 that's held in this wallet. So if all 5 of them were not in agreement that we wanted to transfer it, it just stays in that wallet and it can't be transferred. So there's ownership of it, but it's more, that's kind of more, you've got to reach a consensus to do anything with it. And what you're saying there is, can it be broken down into percentages of ownership? There are people working on that. That's kind of like a cutting edge NFT question. I want to say that yes, it is. I'm not sure if it's possible already or if it's going to be possible soon, but the short answer is yes. Can it be broken down into percentage of ownership? Yes, it can. I don't know if that's out right now or it's about to come out. You'd have to do a little Googling there, but the short answer is yes. I just don't know if it's possible just yet. Okay, would ERC 1155 be a good protocol for like a reward system like badges? Badges, so yeah, that would be. I mean, if you're talking about, somebody does something that you want, some sort of behavior that you want to incentivize, like a employee of the month or a rewards loyalty point system, that would work. 1155 would be good for that, because if you wanted to, you could have a rewards like currency, and that's fungible. But you could also, like on top of that, you could have a unique kind of like employee of the month or loyalty person of the month badge that gets issued kind of in addition to that like loyalty rewards currency. So 1155 would be the way to go there for like a loyalty reward system, because they give you the flexibility of doing a fungible and a non-fungible token. Derek says, we give the owner the right to act as though it's a stick asset. I'm not sure there. Yeah, you're correct on the side. Okay. Let's see here. So Joel's saying, so the file is hashed, right? Which just gives you a long letter and number that is unique. Can't the person who created the NFT copy that number and provide it to multiple people? The file is hashed. So, I mean, for the NFT to display, like if you want to display your NFT, like I'm just using the artwork example because that's kind of the most common use case right now. People have their NFTs, they want to display those NFTs. They have the file is not hashed in that case. It's not like you're displaying like the actual file coming from the host, and you're able to see the the URL of where that file is being hosted. I mean, you can hash it and provide a fingerprint of it, but I'm not sure. When you say the file, you're talking about the digital file. Can the end user verify the hash? Yes, the end user can absolutely verify the hash. Yeah, the person who created the NFT just copy that number and provide it to multiple people. I mean, the person who created the NFT can provide the hash of the file to as many people as they want. Yeah. I don't think I'm fully understanding your question. I'm gonna come back to that one. We're gonna move on to the next slide. I don't think I got that question fully. Okay, so yeah, so that's basically NFTs there. If you think of some question or something else about, what exactly is an NFT, again, pop in the chat. I'll get to it here when I can. All right, next slide. So NFT chain protocols that currently have NFTs. I know that there are more than this. These are kind of just the biggest ones, or the ones that I think will have a chance to be around a few years from now or longer. There are other projects that also offer NFTs, but there's too many to list here, so I had to kind of trim the list. Obviously, number one is going to be Ethereum. 80–90% of all the action happening in the NFT world is on Ethereum right now. Second up, we've got Tezos. They've had their NFT project out for a little bit now. I don't know a ton about it. I do know it's a solid tech on the technical side of things, but you're talking about adoption, marketplaces, and users. I don't think it's not even close to what Ethereum's got, but that could change. I mean, it's expensive to use Ethereum now, and the Tezos NFT play could do better in the future. The ones with the asterisks are not quite out yet, or either very, very fresh. So Efinity on Polkadot is going to be an NFT platform. That's also by Engine, the Engine project, who came up with the ERC 1155 standard. They're behind Efinity, that's being built on Polkadot. Binance Smart Chain, I believe, released, it's either coming out in June or it's already out. But Binance Smart Chain is going to have an NFT service or creation ability, and they're trying to build an ecosystem around that. That's probably one to watch for. But BSC has been doing some interesting things lately, and they're very cheap. They're quite a bit cheaper than Ethereum right now, currently. And then the last one there, Cosmos, Inter NFT. I believe this one's still under development, but that's one I'm also kind of keeping an eye on. I like the Cosmos project, even though they're a little bit smaller. They're pretty solid tech there. I mean, all of these have solid tech. I wouldn't have put it on here if I thought it was vaporware, like Tron, cough Tron. Anyway. Let's see here. So okay, so that's kind of the different protocols that offer NFTs, at least the best ones in my opinion. Let's see here. So back to the chat. Is there a way for the NFT creator to sell the NFT to multiple people? Absolutely, yeah. Grimes, if you're familiar with the artist Grimes, the musician Grimes, my wife's a big fan of her. I think she's married to Elon, dating Elon Musk also, but she did a big NFT drop on Nifty Gateway, I think. And she basically, what happened was there was, a bunch of unique pieces that she created, and for like 15 minutes, people could buy as many of them as they wanted to for a set price. And after that 15-minute window was up, no more buying them. And she said, we're never going to release any more of these. That's it. I think like 300 or 400 of them were purchased in that 15-minute window. And now there's 300 or 400 NFTs. They're all numbered, so they're each unique. You could have version number 1, or you could have version number 300, or somewhere in the middle there. Version 69 or 420 is probably like the most popular, just because the cryptocurrency ecosystem is kind of immature. But yeah, so that was how she released it. It's very programmable, I'll put it that way. Like OpenSea and some of these places where you go to mint, that offer like creation and minting services for NFTs, they have some preset stuff that you have to follow. But if if you understand how to interact with a smart contract, you've got a little bit of coding knowledge or coding background, you can read the documentation on this stuff and you can mint your own NFT with pretty much, any kind of parameter that you want. You can sell 10 of them, you can sell 10 million of them, you can sell them for 5 minutes, you can put an auction for them and have people bid them up, you can set a price, you can take a cut of it whenever it gets resold and, have a fixed percentage. You can split the profits between multiple wallets every time it's resold or when it's initially purchased. You can really, there's a lot of customization that you can do with your NFTs, as long as you know someone or you are capable of writing a little bit of code and interacting with an Ethereum smart contract. Derek's saying the hash is more for verification of the data on the blockchain. Yeah, absolutely. The hash is how you prove that what you released is legit. You can, the hash of the file and the minting process is recorded onto the blockchain, and then you can compare the hash of all of that to make sure okay, hey, this is actually the original one that was created on such and such a date. So yeah, Derek, you're spot on there. John saying, find discussion from employee of the month type situation. What about professional credentials, like a medical license, a doctor goes for a new job, has an NFT of a degree hosted online? Yeah. So I was part of a startup a few years back, and they were going after educational credentials. So someone does this in grade school and then this in high school and then this in college. They have a digital record of all their accomplishments, and they hold the proof of that in a wallet, and it's signed by the university or the high school or whoever authority issues that educational credential to them. Those were NFTs. We didn't call them NFTs because the college would have been what the hell are you talking about? But in essence, that was a unique credential that was tied to an individual, signed by an authority and or a creator, signed by the creator, and it was recorded onto the blockchain, and it was tied to a specific wallet. You were not able to transfer them. That's probably the biggest difference between these NFTs we're talking about tonight and those educational credentials, because you don't want to be able to send your high school diploma to someone else. That's not really how that ought to work, but that exists. That was kind of where the NFTs came out of, were people looking at different ways to provide digital proof of capability and ability and accomplishments in a trustless way, where in an unforgeable way. So yeah, absolutely, John. That exists today in one form or another. I haven't kept up with those guys and what they're doing, but we weren't the only, when I was working there, we weren't the only people looking into that. So all right, let's see here. Okay, I've seen percentage breakdowns for music and songs. New music NFT platform band royalty. Okay. Isn't ERC 721 only one of one, or can there be multiple mints of the same item like what Grimes did? Was that done under 721? Duffman, I don't know. I'm going to guess that was done under 1155. I don't actually know what standard that token was. 721s, those crypto kitties, I didn't really get into the crypto kitties, but I thought the crypto kitties, you could have a similar type of kitty. It was just a little, it was just a little older or younger. It had an age tied to it, but the underlying characteristics were similar. And maybe I'm wrong there, and maybe they are all completely unique. But I think you could do a multiple issue of a 721, I believe. And if I'm wrong, I'm sure someone will correct me in the comments or in the chat here, but I believe that you could do what Grimes did under 721. But I'm going to guess that she used 1155 because that's kind of the more popular, the more widely used one today, from my understanding. Okay, all right, there we go. Got through all the questions on the chat there. Okay, covered the protocols. So on to the next slide here, marketplaces. So these are the places that you can buy or sell. In the description of this YouTube video, there's a website links to all of these. So if you want to check them out, take a look, see what's up. Go look at these. I believe these are all all Ethereum. Or at least support Ethereum if they do support additional stuff. Bakery Swap or Axie, I think it's Axie, has their own, maybe their own blockchain for it. But everybody else, Maker's Place, OpenSea, Super Rare, Foundation, Nifty, they're all going to be Ethereum based NFTs. They may support an additional protocol or two, but they also support, they definitely support Ethereum. I mean, in terms of the most popular, I think OpenSea's probably got the biggest footprint, maybe. Nifty Gateway, though, is getting up there. Foundation is like an invite only one, like the artists have to upvote. That's like a very artist centric one. The artists have to upvote you basically to get your art listed there, or you have to be invited by someone who already is a member there. OpenSea and I think Maker's Place and Rarible, you can just go on there and just start minting like immediately. I don't know if I would recommend to do that though. I mean, you want to have like a value proposition for what you're doing other than just like, hey, I made a piece of art, like please buy. And so, that's that's my advice. That's my advice there. Let's see. Yeah. So, I mean, unless there's any questions about these different marketplaces or if you've used them and had a good or a bad experience, I mean, MetaMask is probably the easiest way, the MetaMask browser extension for Firefox or Chrome. That's an Ethereum wallet. I would not put a ton of Ethereum or value in that MetaMask wallet. I would, just do enough to do your minting, or, don't put your entire Ethereum savings in there. Just enough to kind of do what you need to do, whether that's minting it or listing it or selling it or whatever. But MetaMask will connect up to most of these marketplaces and allow you to either purchase or sell or mint and create an NFT through the browser extension, and then just using the dashboard on here. And yeah, it's really interesting. The minting process is fairly simple. I mean, all you need your digital file, you need a little bit of Ethereum, and you just need a way to access the app or access the blockchain rather, the blockchain protocol for minting it. And they, walk you through it. You can set a bunch of different parameters, like, how much of a cut you get if it's resold, how much you want to list it for, all those different things. And then you create it, and then whatever address you create it from, it's a good idea to provide a public place that basically verifies, hey, this is the address that created this NFT, and this address belongs to me, or this address belongs to Grimes, or this address belongs to, whomever. Because without that, I mean, yes, it was created by this Ethereum address, but we don't know who that is. And if you don't kind of verify that, especially, I mean, this is more for like a celebrity or somebody with someone that's famous, it could be a duplicate. And so if you go to purchase something and they're advertising it as, like Donald Trump's NFT, like MAGA hat or something, that could completely be a forgery unless he has some way for people to verify, yes, this is my address. This is the address that I used to, create this NFT. And then you can go and you can look up that NFT. Oh yeah, it was created by that address. So that's legit. That was created by the person that I believe it's being sold to me or shown to me as being created by. So that's something to watch out for. There's a lot of counterfeits. Again, the space is pretty young and it's still maturing, and people will absolutely try to take advantage of your ignorance. It's exciting. You want to get into it, but really you want to make sure you're being safe and verifying, what you're actually getting into. All right, I'm going to move off of that. And okay, so this is kind of the last bit here, and this is what I'm most excited for. But kind of as an overview, NFTs currently are being used primarily for collecting rare pieces of digital art. If you heard about Beeple, he was a fairly prominent like digital artist prior to the whole NFT thing, and he would put out all these pieces of digital art, and then he started selling them as NFTs. And then after like a year, I think he put out like some daily pieces. After 1 year, he made a big collection of all of his one days, and he auctioned them off through the Christie's auction house for $68 million or $63 million. I forget. But like, yeah, I mean, an incredible amount of money. I think that's like the third highest amount of money a living artist has ever sold a piece for. So pretty impressive stuff. And people were willing to pay that much for it, because it's, in their opinion, he's a great artist. He makes these cool pieces of digital art. Now you can own this piece of digital art, whereas before all you would really have is the file. So like if you bought a piece of digital art from Beeple and your computer got hacked, or you just decided to copy it and give a copy to someone else, they would have that file, and there's no real way to prove that you owned it. By tying it to an NFT, you can see, okay, here's Beeple's address. He minted this piece of this big collection, and now the ownership of that resides at this wallet, the person who paid that $69 million. Now that person can say, yep, that's me. You can prove you own a wallet by just signing a little transaction that only someone with the private key to that wallet would know. You can prove your ownership of it, so you can say, hey, yep, that's me. I own this, and I think that you get non-commercial use of that piece of art. Sometimes the artist will provide commercial use, so you can use it as advertising or to make money profit off of. But most of the time, the artist just gives you like a non-commercial, personal use only. So you can do whatever you want with it. You just can't create a business around it or profit off it in a commercial way. The second bit there is, anything that exists as a digital file can be an NFT. Right now, it's primarily digital art. And we're seeing some other stuff like with NBA Top Shot, like clips of NBA plays, basketball plays that are, kind of cool. They get turned into an NFT, then you can own that clip, basically, which is pretty cool. But people, I mean, it can literally be anything. And I feel like as the world moves to more of a digitally friendly way of doing business and just kind of existing, right? I mean, everything is going digital. People have already begun tying physical goods and services to NFTs. Like you buy an NFT, you get a digital file, that's pretty cool, but you also get like a pair of tickets to that artist's next show when they come through town. Or, I think Nike's looking at doing like crypto sneakers or something like that, where like you get a limited edition sneaker, and then you also get an NFT that like proves you're the owner of that sneaker, instead of having to have some kind of central authority that says, yes, you're the owner, yes, these are authentic. If you've got that NFT that Nike issued in your wallet, you can prove that that's your wallet, and then you also have the sneakers. If I'm buying them from you, I can say, oh, okay, this is legit. Like, this is your wallet. This is issued by Nike on such and such a date. And, basically that's the certificate of authenticity for these sneakers. Yeah, I'll buy them from you. They're legit. They're not a knockoff. Like they're the real deal. And that's kind of where I see the NFT thing going. Like the digital art is very cool. I'm super happy that the artists are able to make some money, whereas before they would not have been able to, it's just another source of income for a lot of artists who, I mean, everybody knows the starving artist, right? So I like that aspect of it, but there's a lot more to it. And I think that's just kind of the starting place. And that's why I say the space is still maturing. It's not kind of fully there. I mean, I think where it's going to be like, like a diploma, like somebody in the chat said there, like a doctor's graduation certificate, or their right to practice medicine is going to be digital, and it's probably going to be an NFT. I could see, public trustees and the people who control the record the titles to your homes, and all of that. Why could that not be an NFT? I mean, how much easier would it be to sell your house if all you had to do is transfer an NFT from one wallet to another wallet, after somebody paid you you received the funds in your main wallet. I mean, you could actually set up a smart contract that when, okay, this amount of USDT comes into the wallet, the ownership NFT that, is the right to the house, goes from this owner to that owner, transfers it, and then, the seller receives the funds. I mean, you could do that in a way where there's no third party needed. There's no escrow, there's no nothing. It's just all done through the smart contract. And I mean, it takes out so much friction. So that's kind of the future of NFTs as I see it, is just providing digital ownership over any asset, regardless if it's physical or if it's digital. The way that we're digitizing everything in our world today, it just kind of makes sense, and it's exciting. That's why I'm excited about it. That's why I'm putting this presentation on. The art thing is pretty cool. I think it's kind of, there's kind of a scummier side of it where people just like buy things and then like instantly flip them. I shouldn't say that's scummy. I shouldn't say it's scummy because I've done that, calling myself scummy. But it's, there's a secondary market for it. But you do get some stuff where like people will just buy out a whole drop. I mean, it's like with sneakers. People will buy out a whole drop of an artist and then just turn around and resell it immediately, to make a bit of a profit. And so, the people who, actually want to own it and hold it and are excited about it, they don't get to pay the going price. They have to pay, the secondary or third price for it. So kind of sometimes it can price them out of the market. And I think that kind of sucks, but if the artist really cares about it, they can release it in a way that tries to alleviate that like resale of it. I mean, you could make it so it's not resaleable. Or you can't resell it for you can't resell the piece of art for like a year or 2 years or something like that. It's locked, it's bound to that account for 2 years from now, and then at that point they can sell it. So there's some things that can be done to kind of mitigate that. So I don't want to demonize it too much. Like I said, I have flipped NFTs, so it's interesting. It's an interesting game. You pay a lot of gas fees though. You better know what you're doing, or you're gonna lose $1,000 in gas fees before you even get your hands on anything. So, yep. Let's see here. I think we've got some questions in the chat. Who gives value to the NFT? Well, you do. The person who's willing to pay for it gives value to it. If nobody's willing to buy it, and there's plenty of NFTs out there that never get a single bid on them, nobody really sees any value in that NFT. However, if somebody is willing to pay an amount for it, I mean, it's just kind of basic economics. If somebody's willing to buy it, that's what it's worth. If I'm willing to pay $10 for it, that thing's worth $10. If someone else is willing to pay $20 for it, it's actually worth $20. It's worth $10 to me, it's worth $20 to them, and then on and on it goes. But I think what you're actually asking is more like why, like the setup of this NFT, right? Because it's basically like an ownership certificate for a digital file. Now that's really what an NFT is. It's not really the digital file. It's you're able to prove that you own that digital file, because the digital file is endlessly replicatable. I mean, you can make 1 million copies of Beeple's $69 million drop that he did through Christie's. You can have 1 million copies of it. There probably are 1 million copies out there because everybody wants to see what the hype's about. However, there's only one person who can prove that they own it, and that's worth something. The market has said, hey, I'm willing to pay for that. Whether or not you agree, you think it's dumb or it's not, you can't really argue with the fact that it's happening. Will it continue to happen? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, there's people on both sides of that argument. I believe that it will continue to happen, just because it helps out. Like, people started out doing it kind of altruistically. Like, they didn't really care that they weren't super concerned about like what the NFT actually was. it was just like kind of a creative and fun way to support an artist that they liked. Like, so I'm part of this meetup called the WIP, WIP, and they hold it in crypto voxels, and they have a really cool like digital art space that's like in the metaverse or whatever. I probably just everybody's eyes glazed over, but just look up the WIP meetup in crypto voxels. They got a Discord server. I've been part of that for a while now. I kind of just lurk in there. And they started out as just a way to support artists that were making cool digital art. People were like, okay, I guess I'm getting an NFT, like cool, whatever. That they were more concerned about like, hey, you made a cool piece of art. I want to support what you're doing. Here's a little bit of Ethereum. And you know what? Like it's kind of, it's almost a donation. And the artist was like, well, why don't I just mint an NFT, give it back to you, so you at least get something for like donating to me. And they're like, okay, that's cool. And people started reselling these NFTs and tying it, you know, to the piece of digital art. And now, you know, here we are $69 million later. So that for that reason, I believe that I don't think the NFT like art thing is going to go away, because there's kind of like a baseline use case for it that existed before like everything got as crazy as it is now. And I actually see it, like I said, continuing to evolve to where it just encompasses digital ownership of any asset, regardless of whether it's physical or digital. That's the end game as I see it. So yeah, Anthony, there's my long-winded answer of your question. Bitcoin glasses, what is the negative of a gasless NFT? I don't know that there's really a negative to that. I guess yeah, a gasless NFT, like you mean it just like doesn't cost anything to mint or to transfer? I mean, that would take a lot of the friction out of the process. I think a gasless NFT would probably be a good thing. Duffman said, you mentioned buying the metadata of the NFT. Where is that metadata hosted? So that metadata is recorded on the blockchain. Like that's part of the minting process, is embedding metadata into like the ERC 1155 token that's being created. That metadata lives on the blockchain, as well as, you know, a hash of the original digital file and the URL pointing to where that digital file is hosted. And this is something that I don't know a lot of people understand. But like so the NFT has coded into it an address or a location where the file that it references is being hosted. If someone has access or control over where that file is, where that address points to, right? So it points to some, let's say it points to a server that I've set up in my basement, okay? That's the address where like the Beeple, that's where Beeple decided to host his $69 million piece of digital art. I can go in there and I can change the file that lives at that address that it points to. And now all of a sudden it's just like a blank gray piece, a blank gray slate. And it's no longer that digital file that Beeple originally had hosted there. And it's something that IPFS, the Interplanetary File System, is working on decentralized hosting, where you can actually pin it to the IPFS. A bunch of different people support the hosting of that file, and actually you've got a hash of the file itself versus, it points to a hash of the file itself versus pointing to a URL or an address where the file resides. And that may not make sense to everybody, but it's a really big deal because it makes it so you can't actually go in there and change that file. So that's something that's coming. I don't know that it gets talked about a whole lot. It's being addressed because it's like kind of a big deal if all of a sudden your NFT is not representing the thing that you paid for. But yeah, again, the space is very immature. It's just getting started. It started out as just like a way to support artists, and now it's blown it up into this like global thing with frickin' Paris Hilton and all these celebrities doing NFTs. And I don't know that everybody really understands like how new this shit is and how easily it can be broken, but they'll probably find out one way or another. Yeah, so let's see here. So it's URL. I've seen when minting, it asks about the token ID and other stuff, asking for the URL. Yeah. How do you verify the proved hash? So let's see here. So I think, boy, this is getting down into the weeds a little bit, but it's gonna be, so you're gonna have the minting address, right? So I have an Ethereum wallet. That's what I'm gonna use to mint my NFT. I'm gonna sign, I'm gonna provide a digital signature with my private key for that address that proves I'm the owner of this public address. And that's gonna be incorporated into the hash, into the minting process and into the data, the hash of the data for that NFT. That gets recorded onto the Ethereum blockchain. And so anybody who's looking at that NFT can go in there and can see, oh, okay, this address proved that they are the owner of that address and they're the ones who minted this NFT. So I can provably see that this NFT was created by this address. And here on that person's Twitter or that person's website, I can see that that address belongs to that celebrity or that person that's claiming to do it. So that's kind of how like the authenticating would work. I'm pretty sure in the future it may already exist. I'm just not aware of it. In the future, there's going to be like an authenticating like aggregator where you can just like go on there and post, like, hey, I'm so and so. Here's my proof of identity or proof of that it's me, and here's the address that's associated with my NFT, whatever. And everybody, you just have like a place that goes and checks the authenticity. But right now, the way I've seen it being done is you really just have to have like a website or some other place that's where you say, yes, this is my address. I'm the minter of this. I'm the creator of this NFT. That the URI I've seen where minting asks for the token ID stuff, asking for the URI or URL. Yeah, I think Duffman, I think that's what you're asking about. How could someone list an NFT in a whole box of sports teams for an entire season that is 30 years old and still in the original packaging? How could somebody list an NFT for a whole bunch of sports teams for? I'm not sure I understand that question, Crypto Report. I think, are you talking about trading cards? You said a whole box of a sports team for a single season that's 30 years old and still in the original packaging. Is that like a physical asset? I mean, you could, what you could do is, you kind of have to do it yourself, a collectible. So you would have to basically mint an NFT and put in there. I mean, you can put some text in there. You can put some text in that says, this NFT represents this and this like physical asset. Upon the purchase of, the purchase of this NFT entitles the owner of the NFT to like one box set of sports teams for a single season that's 30 years old. And then you would need to ship that to the person who purchased it. That would be how that works. And there are like services that will do that for you. But really, yeah, all you're really doing is creating a certificate of originality or a certificate of ownership for that collectible. That's what the NFT would represent. But the person who bought it would still have to trust that you're going to deliver that physical good. They've purchased the digital version of it, but they need to trust you to get the physical version. And I think that's where there's a ton of growth or a ton of opportunity for somebody trying to start up an NFT type project, is figure out a good way to make the delivery of the physical goods very trustworthy and not able to be scammed if somebody purchases the digital rights to a physical good. Somebody's going to figure it out, or multiple people will probably figure it out. Whoever does it's going to be very successful. To create an NFT, I think OpenSea is probably the easiest one. OpenSea is a good one. Maker's Place isn't bad. Rareable's not bad. Nifty Gateway, I haven't used Nifty Gateway to mint anything. But yeah, I mean, any of these places, or not any of these places, but those ones I just listed, connect your Ethereum wallet to it, load it up with a little bit of Ethereum, log into your account, and there's a place to create or mint, or you'll see it. They make it very prominent. That's where you would go to create an NFT, and then you can put your own customizations in there. You can put some text in there describing what it is, what the rights are, if it's commercial or non-commercial use, all that lawyery stuff. You can put it right in there. So yeah, yep, that'd be where you go to do that. Okay, so I think I hit the digital ownership thing here pretty good. Those are all the slides I had. We're about 5 minutes away from an hour. That's about all we have for tonight. I'm going to end it with my cybersecurity slide. If you guys have tuned into any of these streams at all, I always end it with the cybersecurity one. This stuff is so important. And yeah, right there at the top. Doesn't matter if you're a rock star with your crypto portfolio. It doesn't mean anything if somebody hacks your crypto or you lose your private keys. You can be the greatest, most brilliant day trader, NFT minter, investor, whatever. And if you don't have good cybersecurity, it could all be for naught, and it could just go away in the snap of a finger. So, make sure you've got a dedicated email. Like I recommend Proton Mail. If you're making exchange accounts or you're setting up stuff, it's only for crypto. It's not tied to your main email. Use a password manager that'll generate secure, unique passwords and remember them all for you. If you've got anything over $1,000 worth of cryptocurrency, get a hardware wallet like a Ledger, Trezor, KeepKey, BitFi, any of those. Bookmark your crypto websites so you're not going to fake sites and getting scammed, because there'll be a website that looks exactly like Coinbase.com, and as soon as you make a deposit into it, your crypto is gone. So make sure you're bookmarking those websites. SIM lock your phone so people can't SIM swap you and call up your provider and say, I've got a new phone, switch my phone over to this new iPhone I have, and then all of a sudden your phone's gone. And use 2FA that is not text. Use Google Authenticator, Aegis, YubiKey, and OTP are some of the open source ones. Two-factor authentication that's not text. That's my cybersecurity spiel there. Can you explain SIM locking your phone and using 2FA that is not text? So SIM locking your phone, you just got to call up your provider and say, hey, I want to put a password on the transfer of my SIM. So T-Mobile, if I want to transfer my SIM to a new phone, you have to receive this password that I'm going to set up right now, or you cannot transfer the SIM. That's SIM locking your phone. Using 2FA that is not text, that's using Google Authenticator, a YubiKey, the Aegis Authenticator, just any kind of it's called TOTP. I don't know, like one-time password or one-time code, but you basically get you have an app on your phone, whether it's Aegis or Google Authenticator, every 90 seconds that gives you a new code. And that's what you put your password in to log into the website, and then they ask you for whatever the current code is. You type that in and you're able to log in. So it's a second factor of authentication whenever you're logging into a website. Absolutely, you're going to be using that if you're doing anything in the crypto world. So yeah, that's the cybersecurity spiel there. And then last but not least here, talk to me. If you've got any questions or concerns about anything crypto related, I'm your guy, Matt at denvercryptogroup.com. 9 to 5 during the week. I've got a Discord. Hop in there, ask some questions if you want to. Yeah, I mean, I've done pretty much everything in the crypto world at this point. I try to keep myself pretty up to date. I helped write the book Cryptocurrency Mining for Dummies. You can get that at Barnes & Noble or on Amazon. Helped set up some pretty stations, and I've worked with everybody from people investing like $100 into Bitcoin up to some investment banks, here in town who are doing significantly more than that, and people from middle schoolers to, I think my oldest client was like 87 years old or 88 years old. So I've seen it all, been doing this since about 2017. If you have any questions, reach out, we'll set up an appointment and take it from there. So yeah, thank you all for coming out. I really appreciate the support. We're going to be doing some in-person stuff here next month. The next Wednesday is going to be Beginner's Night Part 3. So we had 1 and 2 already. Go check those out if you're new. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments or reach out to me at the Denver Crypto Group email there. But part 3 will be next Wednesday. We're going to be talking about setting up your exchange accounts and actually making transfers from your exchange to your hardware wallet, how to actually transfer your crypto on the exchanges. So it should be a good one. That'll be next Wednesday, 7 p.m. And yeah, I'm Matt, and thanks for the support again. And I'll see y'all next time. Later.